What's up, everyone? You are listening to the Ravel and Queen podcast. It's Thursday, Sarah. We back.
Happy Thursday.
Thursday, Friday Eve, as they like to say. Friday Eve.
Okay, here's what we're going to talk about right now for a moment, because it's just come to me. I still have no concept of dates. I will say, I do not know when weeks start or weeks end. It truly is a mystery to me. And I'm really not that bothered by that. That doesn't bother me. But I am noticing, and that is like a hangover from COVID, which I'm okay with that. I am noticing, however, that some admin things are starting to come back into my life and a lot of organizing. And I have to tell you, it hasn't really settled to me how I'm going to deal with this, but I don't like it and I'm not going to deal with it. And I'm now on steps to remove any things that feel like administrative requirements on my mind.
Well, at least it's May and taxes are done. So that's probably a big administrative lift. I don't know. I know what you mean, though. Today, I actually had an interesting day because working from home, the COVID hangover, whatever you just call it, it's like a weird, it's when it's the weekend, but everything in between is kind of like blurry. But I had to run some errands and do a few things today. And I'm like, you know what? There's a few errands I need to get out and do because they need to be done. And you feel really good when they're done though, Sarah.
Oh, listen. So I'm on this new thing. I'm not on this new thing, but I agree with you. I'm going through a spiritual upgrade again, always. New beliefs, new foundation. So what I realize is every time you go through this stuff, you have to cleanse and purge and get rid of stuff. So I'm going through a throwing stuff out right now in my house. So you're right. And I think rather than waiting for a month where I keep my donation clothes in my house for a month, I'm about being on them faster. So 100% those errands matter. But then also there's little things that you are so right. I'm on this big thing of stuff that annoys me. I deal with it right away. So I accidentally bought this pack of pens. So stupid. This is so stupid.
And you hate them.
I hate them. And I thought they were the pens I wanted. I went to great effort to save the one pen I liked and order the matching ones. What I didn't realize is I accidentally got the tips that are size medium and not small. Oh. So this morning I went out because it's 2 days in a row. It's been driving me crazy when I'm journaling or when I'm writing in my notebook. So this morning, that errand done. I was like, this is not bothering me for weeks. I went to Staples. I got that. I have to go to Envy this evening to get a top for I'm traveling much more for work. So I've got to go get a shirt, and I'm just doing it because it's on my mind. And I think, like you said, I'm just in a place where these things aren't lingering. And I feel like it's part of clearing the mind.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't agree. The purging, maybe it's the time of year and stuff too. I don't know what's happening. I went through things I kind of like in my closet, but I just don't wear and they don't serve me. I don't feel like I love them when I put them on, but they're okay. I went through one day and I was feeling a little bit anxious, and to distract me, I just went through and was like, pew, 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 pulling everything. And the pile was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And my closet's quite large. And there was a mountain of consignment, donating, a couple different piles, stuff to go to the cottage. And I have to tell you, that was one of my errands today. And I have one, because I couldn't carry it all down my hall in my apartment, but I have one bag to go to Goodwill. And you feel good.
I'm taking my bag with me on the way to the gym that I have. Good. But you're right. And I think now I'm realizing it more. This is something that happens every time I go through changing of beliefs. It's a clearing out the space and the clutter. And that's a big part of new seasons for sure, in all ways, literal in life, but then new seasons in your own life and your personal, whatever's going on with you personally, I think is creating space. So you got to get rid of all that other stuff.
And also just adulting. I feel like there's so many things that now we just need to do and stay on top of.
This is what I disagree with. This is what I am not buying into.
There was a big eye roll.
This did not exist in the last 2 years of my life. And suddenly I'm
I've always been like this.
There's nothing that I am worse at than booking an administrative task, managing my schedule. There is literally, I am shocked at how bad I am in it. Shocked. And so I can't do it. I'm just not, I'm out. I don't know what the
I'm like
answer
the
is.
complete opposite. I get so much joy. It's actually, I'm a bit psychotic when it comes to like cleaning and organizing. And my husband's away right now. And I cleaned the house last week. I cleaned it yesterday morning as soon as I took him to the airport because it's just like, this makes me feel, I think honestly, I need to dig into this because there could be a link with feeling overwhelmed and anxiety. And it's just a way to just decompress. I don't know. Does that sound
It
crazy? But
might
my
be a very
mind just like,
healthy habit.
I mean, I guess, but it makes me feel so good. I feel so
Yeah.
accomplished after.
So that's great. Whereas it takes me all day to manage my schedule. And then I feel like fucking angry after at the end of it. Like I'm furious.
Because it takes you so long or because you
Because
don't
I
want to be
hate
doing
it and it takes me long and it zaps my energy. I'm not supposed to do it. So I'm actually now looking into getting a virtual assistant, which is like ridiculous. But I honestly just never want to do this stuff ever, 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 ever.
Ever. Sarah hates it. She's done.
I'm
If anyone's looking for part-time work, call her.
It's not even that I hate it. It's that I am also very bad at it.
Then you shouldn't do it. I agree. Like I enjoy doing those things, not so much administratively, but around the house. Like it gives me some sick pleasure.
I know. And I would rather sit alone in my office undisturbed for hours and be able to like go into some rabbit hole. Like it's just, we each have our things.
This is why we're friends. And this is why the world goes around because everyone has their vices. And you know what? We can help each other. Maybe
we can
do a little bit of what we both don't like doing.
Okay. But now I have another serious question. How are you enjoying being on your own for a few days? I mean, we love Jeff.
We love Jeff. It's very strange only because we do both work from home and obviously live together because we're married. It's nice to have, this sounds so selfish, but it's nice to only have to worry about yourself for a few days, like even just making coffee or food or doing the dishes. There's just half. I even did laundry today and I was like, oh, there's not as much laundry. This is great.
That's so funny. I don't know, obviously, but I can relate only from I've had poodles living with me for 2 weeks, which is, this is not a real
poodles, very much like husbands.
They are not.
Three poodles equal one husband.
But it is eye-opening for me because I wake up and the first thing I have to do is take them out to the washroom and then feed them. And I can't even do anything. I can't even start my morning until they're taken care of. And so I do understand when you're saying, I understand very little. Like I understand so little, but I'm like, for once in my life, I'm like, oh, I get it. You got to make twice the meals. You got to do twice the laundry.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. So this is like a little vacation Ash mode.
This is Ashley. And I've really been enjoying, I mean, it's kind of nice out today. I want to get out and go for a quick walk, but I just feel like being inside in my house. And maybe that is because I'm alone and I just want to again, there's not an ounce of laundry. Everything's put away. Everything's clean because I just feel so I don't know. And it's nice out. I should be wanting to not be inside, but hey, what can you do?
That's that is one of the funny things when you live on your own or by yourself. Your house is exactly how you leave it. Whereas I advocate too, it's better to live with people. It is better for you. And, you'd rather be in a loving and happy relationship with a partner than on your own. But it is a fun treat when you come home and the house is exactly how you left it.
Oh, it is. And I mean, Jeff is he's clean very good and organized and he obeys by the rules of Ashley. let's just get that straight. But just to be alone, I know you can appreciate that too, because when you're around people or traveling and then when you're home, you just feel that much more content for a few days. And then I'm off to Montreal this weekend. So
big birthday weekend. Okay, no, but that's what I totally get that you're staying in the house and enjoy. Sometimes it's just nice to enjoy your space on your own.
Oh, 1000%. Making dinner alone, a gift.
And just doing whatever yeah, I know. Okay. I hope you
Sorry to all the parents out there who are longing for this moment of aloneness. We pray for this for you and Sarah and I will cherish it as much as possible for you right now.
I told VK, my friend in Newfoundland who just had a baby, I was like, the first night that, Violet can go without you, I would like to put you up in a hotel. It's like, when we get to that milestone, please tell me, and I will pay for a hotel room for you to go and sleep for 12 hours. So,
Oh,
but
that's
exactly
kind.
what you're saying. Okay. Any big plans for the birthday weekend before
Just
we?
just Montreal, just going to eat and shop and chill out.
It's going to be hot, hot, hot. Are you going to Boda Boda?
I'm not. No, I know so many people keep asking me, are you going to a concert? Are you going to Boda Boda? And the answer is no, I'm not. Just
You're not doing
fucking gonna
anything.
chill. Just see what the day brings.
You know what I've been noticing lately is like a lot of things have been lining up perfectly for me. And I think that vibe can come with you. Oh, I meant to tell you, actually, the 21st is supposed to be this divine day astrologically because we're in Mercury retrograde, which is like last year, the Mercury retrogrades were affecting me big time.
They were
like,
not
I
good
was
to
dreading
us.
them. This year, they're like, Rebecca did my chart. She's like, you're basically going to bypass all these Mercury retrogrades because there's so many good stuff happening at the same time. So like, amen for that. But I was going to tell you, your birthday is supposed to be like a super duper day astrologically. Okay. So the stars are quite literally aligned for you that day.
I can't wait.
So all the things
for the rest of the year.
Yes. Okay. I love
Amazing.
that. I meant to tell you that earlier. I'll send you the full. I think Channy Nicholas posted something, so I'll send it to you. Ashley, today we have a very special guest on.
We sure do.
Someone we love dearly, Miss Connie McInnes.
We spend a lot of time at her studios.
She is the founder of our studios, which we, as you know, Ash and I do spend a lot of time there. She said, we love the Pilates. You love the spin. I've even done a few spins. We love Rogue. And now she's also got Rinse, the hot Pilates, and the newest baby is now open, Rest.
And don't forget Rebel in Dartmouth for all the Dartmouth people.
Oh yeah, we love Rebel as well. So we had a great chat with Connie. She's been on the podcast before, but at the very start of the show. So basically it was nice it's been a year and a half probably since she's been on. Maybe
early days, very early days.
Actually 2.5 years, I think.
2019.
Yeah. So 2.5 years since she was last on. And really, we just talk about the growth over that period. And really like the growth in the studio since she's begun. We also talk about personal development, how she has started pushing herself by putting herself in the shoes of being a beginner. She's joined a running group and really like what that experience has been like for her. We also get into a lot of like the conversation that she brings into a class and the energy that she's able to bring into a class. And I think how that connects to everyone who's attending. I really enjoyed that part of the conversation. And then lastly, she shares a very big announcement with us, which I think all of our listeners will be very excited to hear about.
I know she really dropped one on us, which is so exciting. So stay tuned. That's near the end. So you got to tune in for the whole thing to get the goods.
I was legitimately flabbergasted.
Yeah, you were.
Speechless.
And I do want to mention, speaking of our studios, we are doing a community fundraising ride at Rival on May 27th at 6:30 p.m. with my cousin-in-law, let's say, Chris Cunningham, and then another Pilates class. All proceeds will be going to the LLSC fundraiser, and that one's Sunday, May 29th. I think it's at 1 or 1:30. We will share some information shortly, probably through social media. And that one's with Nicola, our gal.
Yes. So those are all to help Ashley raise money for the Lymphoma and Leukemia Society. The links will be in the show notes where you can sign up and come do some Pilates and ride some bikes with us. It's going to be a ton of fun. Also, we're doing a little poll right now. We're working through some new formats for the Rival and Queen podcast. And if you are listening, we would love to get your feedback on some of the stuff you would love to see. There is another link in the show notes for that. That's it.
That's it. Let's talk to our gal, Connie.
All right.
That was so good.
All right. So today we have back in the studio Connie McInnes, a friend of ours, the fitness queen, also, as we're
the fitness queen.
We're giving her that title. And Connie was in the studio with us the year we started the podcast.
Not the studio.
You're right. She was in Ashley's kitchen with us, or
Dining room
table in October, probably 2019, at the very beginning of Rival and Queen. And we were just talking about how much has changed in the last, 2.5 years, basically. Is that right? Yeah, 2.5 years since that time. At that point, you had just opened a third studio in Halifax.
Not even.
Yeah.
Now you have 5 with a 6th to come. That's like, that's a studio a year at least, basically. And you've developed an online platform. Like, so much has happened in the last couple of years. We honestly just want to like, first of all, we love you. Yeah. And also it's just like, we always get to see you just in passing through life. So it's nice to actually be like, come sit down. Let's actually just like have a catch up.
What have you really been doing?
But you know what? I feel like I see you way more now because you're teaching a ton too, which is fun.
Yeah, I mean, I took probably like 2.5 years off teaching when I had the first 2 studios. Like, I may not even have been teaching at that time.
Yeah,
I think
Just
we
started again.
Mm-hmm.
I think you had just started doing like 1 class a week again because
Yeah.
you were like, I missed it. And like,
Yeah, I mean, it's the foundation of why I started the business. It's like clearly where my passion lies. If you've especially seen me teaching in like a high energy situation, I'm just basically someone who wanted to be like a rock star and settled for like a podium with a lighting and music set
and a spin bike.
You're a rock
And a spin
star
bike.
for us.
But yeah, I mean, I've run all components of the business up until after COVID, basically. And it was just too hard to make the transitions between doing the operations and doing the marketing side and client communication side and doing all components and then trying to show up and put on a new hat and be a really energetic, inspirational person when ultimately it was very stressful to be running a business by yourself. So it's nice. I mean, it's grown dramatically and I'm teaching more now than I have in 5 or 6 years, but I feel like the balance is perfect. Like, I've been able to let go of and delegate a lot of components that just frankly are not my skill set. And I was just doing because I didn't have any other option. And I get to be more front facing and do more of what I love now. So yeah, I've gotten to be a little choosier in what I do.
I just personally I love spin, but I walk into Rival and Connie's at the desk before her class greeting everyone. And I've said this to Jeff a few times. I've never felt so special as when I walk in because Connie is legitimately so excited and friendly towards every single person that walks in the door. I'm like, yeah, Connie's pumped I'm here. I'm happy I'm here today.
well, I think that's the magic of it. Like exactly like you said, like that's the part that you love of the business and why you got into it. And like, it is different when it's your, listen, there's amazing instructors who work at all the art studios. And so I feel welcome a lot of times, but it is different when it's you, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's created to be, it was created to be a space that I needed at a time in my life. And so that's exactly what I want people to feel when they walk in. Like, you should feel like no matter what's happening in your day, in your life, like I want it to be a sanctuary for people. Like, I want you to feel, everybody wants to feel seen.
Yeah. 100%.
It works.
It's actually what I realized through COVID. I don't think I've told you this, but I've definitely told Nicola and probably everyone else who teaches classes that I go to is like, I don't go to the gym to work out. I go to socialize. And like,
You've been saying
like,
that for years.
I go to socialize. That's what I realized. Cause when I couldn't go during COVID, I was like, I'm not great at working out at home alone. Like I'll do it if I have to, but I'd rather just go for a run or something. But it's like, I go to be around humans and spend time with people. And then I also love that I get to work out and it's like good for me and I need to, but it's my number one primary reason is socializing. And it's the community.
And that's what keeps you going too. I mean, when we went through this transition and moved to the online platform, like, yeah, it was great to get us by. And people would ask me all the time, like, is Peloton taking over? Is this whole transition, is this here to stay? Like, is, mom and pop shops a thing of the past? And like, you truly can't replace the connection that you build there and the community that you get there and having someone next to you pushing hard. And, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's convenient to be able to do it in the, here's where you've got something to say.
Sarah's really
I
excited.
have a confession. I have a confession that I'm going to tell Connie right now. I have never finished an online class.
Really?
In its entirety. Hell no. I'm like always at the 35-minute mark being like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 60 minutes, 45 minutes too long. I have friends during lockdown that would like sign into the class, put their video up, and just like sit there and eat nachos. Like it's just not as inspiring not to be in the space. Like you get the energy from the people in the room, and it's not just from the instructor. Like it truly is. Like I was saying in class tonight, like if you're not going to turn the dial for yourself, turn it for the person next to you. Like just try to do something to be a part of a bigger picture while you're here. And it makes a world of a difference to have a room of bodies around you.
Exactly. It pushes you differently. And just for the record, I finished all my
I know you do. Ashley's like very self-motivated. I'm not.
I like them on the go. Like it's nice to have that.
I go to the gym for socializing. Let's be clear. One of us is more motivated.
I have to say, to the point on the
Early,
Peloton.
stays late.
Oh yeah, she's the last one to leave. No, she doesn't come early.
I don't come early, but I am the last one to leave. I thought Nicola was going to kick me out today. Anyways.
Oh my gosh, she's the best too. But yeah, I've done the Peloton a few times. And it's good. I think it's good if you only have so much time and you need something convenient or just as like a backup. But even doing the Peloton classes, I just see the one instructor on there. I'm like, this is so boring. Why can't you have like 100 people in the room when you're recording this all yelling? You know?
Oh yeah.
You need to see the people.
So one of the things that I'm super curious about, more so than the business. I mean, we love the business, but so knowing you we've known each other for
Long time.
University days.
Oh my God, how many years is that? 16 years now?
2006. You would have been to university.
Like age 18.
Yeah. So one of the things,
take a trip down that memory.
I always just go back to, and it is, it's like, you think of yourself at that age, and it's always like so interesting to look back and reflect kind of like where you're ending up and where you're going. But I feel like, and so I love seeing you because I love seeing how people over time grow, right? And like the things that they're doing. And it's so cool. But do you feel like, or I'm going to say what I think, and then I just want you to talk about it because this isn't like a well-formed question. But I find looking at you, I see a lot of the business reflected through your own personal growth and like the things that you're growing through. And even just like, I know you're hugely involved with different groups like EO and different kind of like mentorship groups and stuff. What has a personal development been like in the last few years for you? And like where have you been growing as a person, or like the things that are kind of like hot on your mind right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. One of our biggest challenges is like the brand has gone through so many different facelifts and transitions and growth. And it's entirely been a reflection of the phase of my life. Like when I opened these studios, when I left St. FX from being whoever I was there, I mean, who are we at that age? And having no direction and being super lost and not really being clear on what I wanted to do. And I kind of went through a phase of my life at that point where I really needed a break from all influence. And I moved to the middle of nowhere. I lived by myself. I got into yoga. I started like studying spiritual readings, and then I became this really, really big free spirit. And I remember posting a photo of myself doing like a yoga pose on Facebook because those were really cool images to post at the time. And people were like shocked. They were like, whoa, like 180, who is this? But I had gone through a massive transition in the last few years before I opened that studio. And that was always the original only concept, was to open this sort of out of the box, edgy, like non-traditional Pilates and yoga studio. And, through the first 2 years, it's just through like different experiences and different soul searching. And then, I got into like, as I grew a little bit more, as I built the business a little bit more and kind of became a little bit, I don't know if harden's the right word, but like certainly there was a component of it where, my intensity changed, my personality changed. And so then Rogue came along and it was sort of this like darker side to the original concept. And then, just like, and then, Rebel and Rival, it was like my teaching changed. Who I was changed. I became a lot more positive and a lot more optimistic. And so all of these stages are entirely a reflection of what's happening in my life and who I am. And, now feel like I'm at sort of the most like composed, mature stage of my life. And now the actual strategy of the business is building.
Right.
So then we acquired Moto. And so, that was completely strategic. Rival was completely strategic. What comes next for us will be entirely strategic. So what started as this just like organic passion, as I continued to grow, and I mean, self-development has always been a part of me, whether it's just trying to connect to who I am as a person because I was so lost for so long. I've done a ton of life trainings. I got involved in business programs really early because, I wasn't actually in business at St. FX, but I think everybody thought. Like we were in a lot of business classes together. So I had no background. So, I knew that if I was going to do this and wanted to be successful, I've always been a really driven person. I've always been a really self-motivated person. No matter what I've been doing, I've gone all in. But the personal growth, at least 10% of my year is devoted to going away, like trying to build the vision, trying to build myself, going to conferences, like going to whatever they are, like any subject, any topic. I put a post up today, like it was 4 years ago that only Rio existed. And I went and just took myself on like a silent retreat because I was just like, okay, what am I doing here? Like, where's this going? I opened this one. I feel like it's going pretty good. I feel like I can kind of start to do something else. And I created this sort of like 4-component concept of what the studio wasn't our studios yet because there was only the one studio. And so I had Rio, and then I was always wanted to introduce a spin studio. It was the first thing I ever wanted to bring here, but I had no money and no capital. So that went the way of the water, if that's a saying. So Rio, Ride, Rinse, which was always going to be like a hot concept, and Rest. And it's not necessarily a 6 space, but all 3 of those concepts have come to life in the last 6 months. So it's crazy to think like, I built that idea 4 years ago. I did other things in the meantime because I still wasn't ready to, couldn't invest in the, I wasn't ready for the spin, the hot yoga studio. Everything was too big of an investment. So Row came, Rebel came, and then suddenly, basically after hitting rock bottom and having to go through what we went through with COVID, you get to the core of why am I doing this and how much am I really willing to fight to keep this alive, and what am I going to do to make sure that this is going to work? And the strategy had to really start coming out.
Crazy. So was it that tight for you during COVID, like that experience? Just like, I guess you would see the writing on the wall. It is crazy. Like your whole model basically was torn from you indefinitely.
Yeah. You see how many businesses closed. Could we have folded? Probably. There was no guarantee that we were going to be able to get through. We shut down, but like at the time I had 3 studios. My bottom line, I still had $30,000 in operating costs. I don't personally have that to survive for a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely flashes like, is this the time to get out? And especially where everything moved to online, and then Peloton and all of these massive, it's one of the most competitive markets right now is the online fitness industry. And, you have to start to, as always, you have to be forward thinking in where your industry is going. And so there was definitely a bit of an indication that that's where the industry was going. So like, was it worth continuing to try to pay these rents and keep pushing through for the other side where you really didn't know what was going to be on the other side? And ultimately, like we just said, the connection and the community that we built was not worth sacrificing or just letting go of. it was really important for me to maintain that, and seeing how close everyone stayed together. And even though you didn't get through an online class,
Everyone else did.
I showed up to the online classes.
Good
you showed up
intentions.
to socialize, which is fine. Everyone's going to get something
And then
different
it
out
wasn't-
of it.
I would
It
be
wasn't
3
what
to
you
4
thought.
minutes early for the Zoom classes. I would do them outside. But then, like, you know, if I was a little tired, I just turn the video off. I just sit there for the rest of the class and listen.
If you didn't have to like clock in and be accountable to somewhere, it's a whole other ballgame. So
And so as you're saying this, Connie, it's making me think about rest, which is above rinse in your new space. And I feel like not only the gym is important for people to have for self-care and just to like, you know, shut everything off and focus on, but now this is almost like another gift to the members to go and enjoy a new space and rest.
yeah, I mean, it's always been about a holistic lifestyle. And like you said, I mean, it isn't a fitness place. Like, it isn't a goal oriented, here's how much weight you're going to lose, let's transform, let's set goals. It is like, how can we just make this a part of people's lifestyle that they're going to want to maintain? And if it's not fun and it's punishment, it's you're not going to stick with it. But if you have all of these other elements that make it feel like something you can't live without.
I think also, too, you probably don't get enough credit for this, but like everything in every single one of those studios is so intentional. And I only know this because like you say some of these things in passing, but like even the fact that there's no mirrors. So like you can't see yourself and you're
That's
not
my
like worried
favorite.
about your appearance. And like, but when I look at the whole overall, like it is to me just a reflection of all these different sides of you. But I think you've also said that it's like, and I also am saying that knowing that you have a deep freeze in your house that's dedicated as like a cold pool,
Yeah,
a cold
tell us
plunge,
about this.
like what the hell?
Creative. You got to get creative. No, it's totally true. I mean, it's the brand and like how I've shaped it over time to be,
Totally.
you know, making sure it's super inclusive and accessible to everybody. But I mean, even the way that it's designed, like when we are building out a space, you know, the contractor will be like, do you want me to, you know, paint this pole in the middle? I'm like, no, like it has to have that edginess, that roughness to it, because it's not about perfection. Like it's just, I'm a rough around the edges and the space is a rough around the edges. But ultimately, like that's exactly how we want you to feel when you walk in. Like it's just like, oh, okay, like I can just come as I am. Like it's okay for me to like touch this counter and I'm not gonna like, you know, get dirt, you know, worried about getting dirt on it. Like it's meant to feel relaxed and homey. Yeah, the cold plunge. So I'm a pretty like organic raw person. I mean, I, you know, follow a lot of just like successful entrepreneurs and go after what they do. And so I've gotten into cold plunging and, yeah, I was into cold showers for a bit, and those
I
just
did that
aren't
as
so
Wim
fun.
Hof,
And
the Wim Hof movement.
I
then
did
the
the
Wim
cold
Hof,
showers,
yeah,
yeah.
so I've done a bit of that training. So,
So you just one day said, we're going to empty the deep freeze or purchase a deep
we
freeze.
got it. Purchased the deep
Okay,
freeze.
purchase the deep freeze and thought this is going to be the cold plunge.
Yeah, well, we got an infrared sauna during COVID, and
So you wanted the full cycle.
wanted the full cycle, and
How
then
cool.
yeah, it just became. And then I just like I fell in love with it, and I was just like, okay, you know what? We need to bring this into our spaces. It's amazing.
It is amazing. I freaking nothing like. Also, nothing makes you sleep better than like cold cycles, and like it is good for your body. You can literally like feel your body strengthening.
I try and do it. We have it in our building. There's a cold
Right.
plunge in the sauna and the steam room and stuff. And like, you feel so good. I just love the feel of your blood pumping.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like yes, you
yeah,
feel
like
alive.
throbbing.
I mean, the physical benefits are great. The challenge is controlling your mind when you're in it, and that's where everyone is. It's not just about like jumping in and freaking the fuck out. It's I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but
Yeah,
I feel like you guys do.
we're all adults here.
Um,
Trying to like calm
trying to
yourself
control your
down.
breath, and it's training your mind to be able to get through challenges, get through, you know, anything that surfaces for you. So there's actually a massive translation in your day-to-day life through
Interesting.
Yeah.
So are you
minimum.
spending more time in the cold tub right now?
I know. I'm like, how long are you in the cold plunge?
Yeah.
And are you doing it every morning? This is what I need
just
to
to
know.
deal
I
with
had
life.
it as part of like my morning routine for a while. I've been really busy with a lot of things right now.
Shocking.
So my routine has gone like way of the water is apparently my new saying.
Down the river.
Never said it before today.
Down the
but we're
river.
right by the water, so it's.
I've actually never heard that.
I think it's great. This is a saying. It sounds like a
I don't
saying.
think it is a saying.
I think it is.
Yeah. What is the saying?
Fallen by the wayside is what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
Way
But
of
that's
the.
But I like way of the water. Oh, way of the. Oh,
like it's just gone whatever direction it may be.
I heard a saying the other day. It's gone the way of the clog, which is like a
I've never
shoe
heard
that
that.
tried to make it at some point,
Or
and
like
then didn't.
the way of the VCR.
Because
Or
Sarah
like-
has
with
really good,
VCR.
you have really good sayings that I've
One-liners.
never heard.
Yeah,
So
that's
before.
water's still here to stay. So my saying
Well,
is
I'm
not
thinking like
effective.
down a river. Like I'm thinking it's like the way of the water.
You're on a ride down.
streaming along.
It's
yeah.
just streaming along.
Way of the water.
Who
floating
knows
on
where
by.
it will end?
But also, I think recently, this year, I had this kind of like dichotomy or disconnection between habits like this and how long they go on for and things like that. And things don't serve you forever necessarily. But I've been starting to think of them more as like seasonally, and that I've really liked, where it's like I edit my habits,
Yeah.
my
change.
practices, and it's good to mix things up. Like for certain people, they'll do things forever, but you know, sometimes the cold plunge is there and sometimes it's not. And
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I'm in a massive transition phase right now. And, you know, anytime I'm like in these transitions, it's like your goals sort of like you're so immersed in what you're working on in the moment that just your steps to striving kind of get lost because you're so in the work. Drowning, so to speak. It's like, so it's I mean, it's just been hard to kind of maintain those habits that, like, you know, you maintain the habits to like get you to a certain point, then you're in the point and you just kind of like are submerged in it. And yeah, it's one day at a time for me right now, to say the
Fair.
least.
okay, so on that note, we love that you came in here on this one day of the time. But okay, but what was the cold plunge time that you were going into to the deep freeze?
Like how long?
Yeah.
I mean, I've stayed in it for like 15 minutes before.
What
my
the
God.
hell? Also, I have fears of this thing falling on you. Like I'm at home, in my home, safe, worried about Connie and the deep freeze top accidentally shut. You're a very tiny person.
I'm not picturing you closing. Do you
I
close
don't think
it?
she's closing it. I'm
Oh.
afraid it's going to get like someone's going to come in and slam a door and the
No,
thing's going to
Sarah.
close on her and she's going to be in the freezer.
You have to convince yourself that's not going to happen.
To Connie, like I'm worried about her. I don't think
Yeah.
it's happening to me.
Brandon
I
comes
mean-
in and shuts the door.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that big.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, I know this won't happen to you, but I've thought
it's not that big. Like, I mean, you think about a deep freeze. There's also like a built-in stool in it because it's where
Yes.
the like whatever it's called compression thing.
Yeah, underneath.
But yeah, like I was really injured a lot over the last year, and so I utilized it to heal my injuries. So in those cases, I try and stay in to
Damn.
heal for multiple times. But yeah, if I do it as part of my routine, I'm in there for like a couple minutes, 30 seconds even. Just depends how much time I have.
How good it feels at the time.
Yeah,
Sometimes it
exactly.
feels
Sometimes just like
good.
to wake you up and
Yeah. Shock
Yeah.
the system.
shock the system.
You know what? I'm getting back into it now that you've told me.
Come
about this.
over
It
anytime.
is-
We can
I know,
plunge.
but I'll
Come to
start.
rest. Rest is open.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
First of all, I got rest. I got the Queen's Mark. I've got
You have
cold
no
showers.
excuses.
No, I'm going.
Okay, so tell us, I just selfishly want to know more about rest. So there's a sauna. What else is there in this space? A little sitting
So there's a
room.
4-person sauna. I've started it like very minimally. I have visions of like where I'd like to take it, but it's very much a testing ground, like most things become. So go in. There's like a tea station. We've got charcoal lemonade in there. There's a seating area. So if you want to play music, if you want to go in and read, if you just need like to escape, throw some headphones on, whatever you need to do. There's a 4-person infrared sauna, and there's a cold plunge. So it's like a tub that's cold.
So you just wear you wear your
Sign.
bathing suit, you show up. And
Oh, I
you
didn't
just-
even think about my
Well, 'cause
bathing suit.
I only know this because when I signed up, it said that there was 4 spots total, right?
Yeah,
So I was
it's
like, who's gonna
generally
be
communal
plunging?
unless you book it privately.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
but
could
you could
book
also
it.
book it privately and like go like select who you want to go with too.
Yeah. I just hadn't even thought about clothing attire for this.
Yeah,
I'm just picturing like there could be
I'm
a
glad
random
we're talking
person
about this
in there with you.
I know I'd be there.
So you don't show up. And
I'd be there butt naked. Like, I'm just joking. That would
we
not
thought
happen.
about doing like Naked Tuesdays or something, but let's see what goes with the public first.
Tuesdays, all right.
Yeah, why not Tuesday? It could be Naked Thursday.
It could be any day.
It could be any
Whatever
day.
you
In
want.
Sarah's mind.
Well, it's
No,
not
that's
in my
exciting.
mind. It's just like I'm glad you brought this up. Otherwise, it would I would have booked and then 15 minutes before because
If nothing
I'd be
else would
late.
take it away. Like Sarah's not going to be publicly humiliated.
You could go in your bra and underwear.
Well,
Worst
that's
case
what would
scenario.
happen. Anyways, this is all.
I mean,
fun.
that's fine too. You wear whatever you want. I mean, as you know, we're come as you are.
It
No.
would feel incredible though after rinse of hot Pilates or yoga to go upstairs and then
Oh my god.
plunge
do a
in the
nice
cold tub.
Yeah.
I'm like dreaming of it now. I love anyone who's listening who has not tried. Like, please try the cold plunges.
People are scared of
do
them.
cold showers. No, they're so good.
No,
like,
I know
it
some people
feels amazing.
at the
We
Nordic
have
Spa that
staff
never done them.
like that jump in the freezing cold ocean every week all winter long.
There's people.
Yeah, a friend of their Queen's Mark that do it like once a week.
It's amazing.
Because of the stairs, you can walk down there.
It's amazing.
Should we all do it one day?
Maybe we
Should we
should
go
do
do it?
this for like a rest for like the celebration of an opening. We all just go down
Yeah.
into the harbor, do a little cold plunge.
Just a little guerrilla marketing thrown in
Love
there, which I
that.
love,
You
which I
love that, Connie. We got
Foundation of
something
us
going.
was
Yeah,
guerrilla
we'll bring a
marketing.
big sign.
Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about that you've brought up, but I do think is really core to you, is this idea of personal development. You have done a ton. I think of probably anyone, I think you do most consistently and share a lot of the growth you're doing, which is amazing. But what are some of the things that you love? Like, what are the experiences you've had or invested in or like that have been truly kind of transformational for you?
Oh my God.
I love hearing what people love.
I mean, so many. Like the way I look at it is like if you get one nugget, like one takeaway from something, it's worth your time and energy. It's something I've just always invested in. I mean, I've done like your classic Tony Robbins. I've done like the Lewis House Greatness Conference. And I mean, those topics are not even necessarily entrepreneurial or business related. They can be, methods of raising a family or just like, psychological stuff. Like there's something you can, I think it's just as important. I sort of have this quote that I've stolen from somebody, but you can't 10x your business if you don't 10x yourself. So I've always sort of lived by this, that like if I'm not growing personally, the business is never going to grow. So it doesn't necessarily always need to be business related,
Just the
growth
work.
or education. It just needs to be like get out of your comfort zone, shift your perspective. I mean, I like to travel to go to other places and not just go to other gyms, but even just to go to like cafes or like I mean, you can get education from anything. You just have to get out of your comfort zone, and it's not even necessarily the experience or lesson that you're going to get from somewhere or something else. It's more about what you learn about yourself by putting yourself in those situations and how you show up. So if you go to a foreign country and, you've got to adapt to a language, adapt to a culture, try and figure out like how to get around. I mean, that's the best education you're going to get for yourself.
All of your like natural like senses that you rely on are taken away.
Totally.
Yeah.
All of your comforts. And so what you're left with is, I mean, it's very much like Survivor. And I'm fascinated by watching that show because I'm sure we can sit there and judge like the way that people strategize through the game or, but when you think about it, I mean, these people are completely stripped of every comfort that makes their life what their life is. And so all you're left with is like the bare necessity of who they are. And not even, because then they're deprived of food. And so you're just left with like, if that doesn't tell you something about who you are, I don't know what else does. But it's kind of a fascinating thing to think about. Is like, it's easy to be who you are in your natural habitat. It's easy to show up when you know the people are people you know, or you know exactly what to expect from something. But you know, to surround yourself by strangers or a different language or in an unknown territory, that's just the best personal development that you can get, because that's going to show your true colors of like how you show up in those places. It's going to tell you a lot about yourself.
Yeah, just stepping outside of your comfort zone, period, doing anything. Going to a different, even OTE by yourself. I feel like there's just little things to like push yourself outside of that comfort
Totally.
bubble.
Like put your phone down and see like how you actually engage with people when you're not sitting next to someone you feel really comfortable with. Like, are you actually extroverted, or are you extroverted because you're always surrounded by people that make you extroverted? Like, are you actually like, that's something I've learned about myself. Like, I'm not actually that extroverted. I have to like push myself when I'm in those situations. I would love spending time alone. When I travel by myself, I will talk to no one for multiple days. Whereas here, you probably think I'm like the Energizer Bunny. Mm-hmm. But how I show up when I'm alone is kind of it's an interesting to watch. I mean, I'm quite comforted by just being by myself.
And I think like you said earlier, Sarah, there's so many times when that changes the seasons of our lives, whatever, that sometimes you want to be around people and then you don't want to be around people, and you just kind of have to let that flow down the water.
Go the way of the water. Yeah. I think though too, it's like exactly like you say, like periods of transformation. And I'm going through this now too. And it's like, all of the things that used to fit now no longer fit. So, or they have to be adjusted. And so that is like, that's awkward. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. And then also I find I have to sit alone a lot, because it's like you're rethinking everything. Like
totally,
even like how you're rethinking routines, but you're rethinking how you eat. You're rethinking like how you spend your time, and like, so
this happens a lot.
It does. Are you talking about
to me too?
No,
I feel like an insane person sometimes. I'm like, I don't, and then I try not to think about it. I'm like, just let it. Whatever needs to happen just needs to happen.
But I think it's good to allow yourself that change. But like, I know when I'm going through those periods, like I totally need so much time alone, and I feel bad because I'm almost like, you know, a bit of a hermit. But it's just like I can't.
Well, it's true. I mean,
be on all the time.
If you stay in the same, I mean, connecting it to personal development, like if you stay in the same zone all the time, like you don't even have the opportunity to grow or change, and you're right, like then you just find yourself like, you know, like I did with the studios. Not that I'm still not completely connected to each and every one, but I hit a point where it's sort of a threshold for me, and I'm like, I don't necessarily only connect to this right now. I'm growing, so it only makes sense for that to be reflected in my work.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you need something else. I know. I found just going away to Costa Rica, even for the first trip away in years, it was just like, all of these like new stimulation and things like that. I missed it so much.
So refreshing.
And I'm like, I can't stay here right now. Like, I can't be in the city for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, before we move on to the less serious part of the show, I get so into your words, Connie, sometimes, especially in the dark room at Rival. I'm just like, she's touching my, I don't know, certain days. Like, it depends.
Wait, what part of you is she touching?
My soul. She can't reach me across the room, Sarah. But like, where does that come from? I'm always so curious. Is it something you're kind of like, you know, maybe writing about or thinking about that day, or it just like comes to you, a song or just the vibe of the people in the room? Where does that inspiration come from?
It's always a reflection of what's happening in my life. So, like when I'm injured, you know, I don't necessarily talk about my specific situation in the room, but there's always a grander kind of story that you can share that most people are going to relate to. Seasons of change, like, you know, there's always things that we can relate to. But I mean, yeah, I don't read anything. I don't listen to other people. It comes from what's happening in my life. And it's interesting because like right before we started, you asked me how my class was tonight. And, you know, sometimes I have days where like I can't even talk myself out of where my headspace is. And like, so that translates in my class as well. Like if you come to a class of mine and I'm not sharing inspiring, or like if I'm not bringing a message that is helping and supporting you, it's because I'm generally in a place where I just can't even find it for myself that day.
Right.
That being said, sometimes when I come to a class, the lecture that I'm bringing is exactly what I need to hear that day. And so the communication is really with myself, but I know that there's other people that are probably in the same boat.
And it resonates in different ways.
It resonates, yeah.
A few weeks ago, you were talking about just, you know, how spin is hard, and it's hard when you start, and how you have to work. But that, I feel like, for everyone isn't just a physical thing. It's just some, you know, other areas of their life that they're struggling so much.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Like I've been like training very differently in the last kind of 6 to 8 months because, you know, I've sort of, because I'm in this industry and I do train pretty hard all the time, and I'm leading these classes. So again, at some point they reach a threshold for me, right? I always want to still try and be accessible in my own classes, but when you're doing it yourself multiple times a day, at some point you're probably going to outgrow what you're putting into
You're
the classes.
outpacing also what everyone else is doing in a day. Like,
yeah, I mean, it can be the case, right? So I've been starting to study, like, okay, what does the physical versus the mental limitation hold? Because I've been doing my own training and putting myself out of my comfort zone and getting into more competitive things. And like, I've never been good at running. So I'm like, okay, let's set this goal and go after a new challenge for myself that really takes me out of my comfort zone. Signed up for, you know, a super elite running group that I had no business being a part of, but it's been so educational to watch, first of all, how humbling it is to put yourself back in those shoes, because that just, again, is further education for what I'm bringing in my classes to remember what it's like to start something new. Yeah. And just this idea of like how quickly our mind limits our body before our physical ability actually runs out. So your self-limiting beliefs actually start to surface and tell your body to quit before it's actually necessary that your body quits. Now, this is not true in all cases, obviously, if you're injured, whatever the case may be, but I find it just such an interesting thing, because as soon as something becomes challenging, obviously our mind goes right to, I want to give up.
Stop, yeah.
I want to quit. And so I've been preaching that a lot in my classes lately, because I'm doing a lot of the work behind it and I'm experiencing a lot of the work behind it. And I just think it's so fascinating to actually listen to what our narrative is bringing up, because I watch myself do it. Like, I know physically I can keep running, and the mental battle that's going on in my mind is so limiting. It's crazy. And I haven't really experienced that in a really long time, because I haven't put myself out of my comfort zone, especially in the physical world, in so long. So it's been a bit of a trip.
I didn't even think about that. Just like that mental challenge of, you basically not being incredible at it out of the gate.
And running's the hardest one.
Because it's like, but it's different muscles, it's different thing. Like, it's totally different engagement with your body. And it's not even,
you have to keep moving.
And to be fair, you aren't just like naturally incredible at these things. It's just that like you are literally working behind the scenes. Like, before Rival opened, you were doing training classes for months and months and months.
Right.
Like, all of this stuff is like being built up behind the scenes. So it is hard to imagine, you know, you showing
I mean, we
up.
make it look so easy. Yeah. Meanwhile, we've done so much work behind the scenes, but, so yeah, I mean, and I do put myself in those situations to relate and to be able to educate, because, you know, that's kind of the whole point.
Shit, that's crazy.
Love that.
That's so smart. Like, I don't know. I just think that's a really, incredible way to look at that. And the limiting beliefs thing with your mind, anytime you're pushing up against those things, it's good for you. Like, I think we face those all. We've got a poodle stuck in the cords right now, but I think we face those in so many different parts of our life, and we give up, you know, often right before we're about to kind of push through to the next level.
Yeah, totally.
That part's crazy. Okay. Okay.
It's fascinating.
It is fascinating exploring your limits. Okay, actually on this, so I've told you this already. I'm so excited to read your human design chart. I got to get your birthday and stuff before we leave because I feel like you have every time I listen to you talk, I'm like, oh, I really bet she has these things in her chart.
I'm fairly textbook.
I don't know.
Like, you're a Leo? Yes.
He's so funny. I love that. Anyways, I'm excited. Okay, Ashley, you ask your questions.
Connie, we know there's a lot going on, but what are you excited about right now? What's lighting you up? What's the good?
God. Well, I wasn't sure if I was going to share this, but I will share it because it's just part of my story, and it's been a journey, and I'm pissed off that most people don't talk about this early on because I really could have used some help around it. I'm 9 weeks pregnant.
What?
So
congratulations. Oh my God.
So
just add that to the list.
Hopefully by the time this airs, I'll be like in the clear. But either way, whatever happens, it's a story I'm willing to share.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew you were going to say that.
You did?
I definitely did not know you were going to say.
I was like,
please
she's gonna
finish telling this story.
I literally was like, she's going to say she's pregnant and we're going to be shocked. Like, I had no moment. I swear to God. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you know me anytime before the last 6 months, it's never been a part of my plan. Obviously, a very career-driven person, and just never really saw it being a part of my story. My focus has always been on a bigger picture, whatever the case may be. But, you know, also in and during the last couple years of chaos, my values and priorities have shifted as well. And a responsibility I didn't think I was going to be able to handle. And honestly, just watching society and a lot of just even like social media and how inauthentic it is. And yeah, I mean, my vision of like raising children to just be real and bring more strong, independent people into the world has become a bit of like my new mission and my new purpose. And
so I'm going to create a human.
Yeah. So it's already what's the reason I'm pissed off that nobody shares the story. And I understand why people don't, because, you know, anything can happen in the first stage. But I really did not know what I was getting into at this stage. And I was like, okay, I can take this year to really like get the businesses to a really good place. And then I'll be able to take whatever, a few weeks off in May when this happens. And it's already completely taken over my life. I've been incredibly sick. I'm exhausted. I have to take like 2 naps a day if I can like get out of bed before like 9:30.
Oh my God.
And so you just don't know what to expect. And so it's been tough, but it's been already like so emotional. But the things that used to seem like such a big deal, I'm just like, are not a big deal. Like this is my focus now. And this is my priority. But it's really tough to balance everything happening right now. And especially right now, I mean, we've got this massacre happening with one of our leases, and I have to find a new space basically right before I give birth. And, you know, opening rest over the last couple of weeks. And we just did a complete organization restructuring. And so just everything happened at once. And obviously this is something you can't plan the date out. You can't plan how it's going to unfold. And it's kind of been one of the single things in my later years that I haven't been able to control. And didn't really know what to expect. And don't feel like there's that many people talking about this stage of it. And, you know, going through it, I'm like, why are more people not sharing how miserable this is? Because it would have been nice to know. But it is, people just don't talk about this stage of it. And it's been a trip. It's been like a huge journey. And I'm just like very much trying to like just get through one day at a time. It's
Wow.
forced me to be so present because I literally can't plan tomorrow because I just like, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I don't know how exhausted I'm going to be. I don't know if I'm, you know, going to be able to eat. Like, it's just like, it's very, it's a great new challenge.
Yeah. Literally.
It's a great new challenge. So I guess that's what is lighting me up right now, but also it is light and darkness at the same time because it's definitely the hardest thing I've had to get through, and we're going through some major changes in the business too. So yeah.
Damn. I really did not expect you to say that. However, based on the conversation, I can understand exactly what you're saying when you talk about your values have shifted, your priorities have shifted. Also, 100% not surprised that you're like, we need to change society. I will do it by creating
I won't be fully responsible, but I do feel like
you'll pass on a little bit of you and what you've built to someone else.
And I mean, I don't think I'm the greatest person in the world, but I do think I'm very real and very authentic, and I don't think the world is necessarily going in that direction. I think if there can be one example that we set more of, I think that's an important one.
I agree.
We agree wholeheartedly.
I am so excited for you, but like my mind is blown.
Sarah's dumbfounded.
Yeah. And I love this. I can't wait to hug you as soon as we're done this. But like my mind is blown right now. I'm a little lost for words.
Yeah.
Sarah, you can
it's
pull it together.
very affected my physical abilities as well, which has been, you know, the biggest part of my identity.
This might be good though, because now there might be like a whole like
cracking through some
new
of these
thing when you see and know women who are pregnant and then postpartum, like how you know you can structure things differently, even in the community or at the gyms themselves, right?
Totally, yeah.
But also giving yourself compassion, like you are not great at slowing down.
Yeah. No, exactly. And it's
written all over your
It's
face.
a mental battle. And I know this from, you know, we do have a ton of pregnant women. I mean, we have champion pregnant women who like are riding that bike until like 2 days before.
Yeah,
like I'm pretty sure we've been pretty close to
like shout out to Jessica Keel-Ratowski, who's still
No, she just had the baby.
Oh, she did?
Jess Keel?
I saw something on Instagram.
Jesse.
Oh, Jesse.
The cousin. Yeah, he's her cousin. False
I
alarm.
yeah.
I was like, I have her baby shower
I
on
know. I was
Sunday.
actually
I
like,
hope she hasn't had it.
I was like, whose child is this? Okay, sorry, false alarm, everyone.
Jessica's due the end of this middle of the summer, so hopefully the baby stays.
But
in
yes,
there
okay,
longer.
yes, people are champions at our studios.
Anyway, she's still going hard. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we love all of you.
It doesn't seem to have slowed down, and it's been very hard for me to hold my stamina, especially in teaching classes. And I've had a couple like post-class breakdowns where I'm just like, wow, I already.
But you go so hard, Connie.
Affected.
You go so hard. Now you know what the rest of us feel like. Right.
But yeah,
we have breakdowns after too.
You know what? This is great. I'm coming to all your classes now. This is the time that I might be able to get by. No, but I also think this is going to be like, this is a new journey for you to talk to people who are also going through this, but also hopefully people who are a little further along their pregnancy will share more, because maybe it does change and you will get that stamina and strength back.
Now we know why she wasn't drinking the Luvo over there.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
Don't tempt her.
No. Soon enough.
Yeah.
It will go by fast.
Damn, I am just so excited for, I feel like if anyone is going to learn the limits through pregnancy of like, mental challenges and physical limits, it is you.
Well, I mean, it has been good, because I'm like guilt myself if I'm trying to slow down and, you know, step back and be peaceful for a minute. And again, this is like, oh wait, this isn't about me anymore. This is about something else. Someone else you have to take care of. And so already that's been like putting something else before my own needs, wants, desires, and motivations has already become like my new lifestyle. So, and it's like a kidney bean. So, yeah,
I love that.
So exciting.
Okay. Well, we will play around with Queenie Graham.
Stay tuned. There could be
which is far less exciting.
So there could be an Our Studios daycare.
Yeah, we went into a
coming
whole
up.
other subject. I cut your lightning round.
No, we'll do one little round of.
We'll do one round of Queeniegrams. Connie, pick a number for us
Sarah's
between
still speechless.
1 and 146. But I'm
This is
speechless
the
in a
second
good
person
way.
that told us. Verena told us when she was pregnant too, and like
But not live on the
No,
podcast.
like before. But still, this is a safe
And this
space.
is
I
also-
gotta give the content.
This is
a safe
also
space.
different. It's not for me. I'm excited for Connie.
This could be like an announcement. It could be like, listen to the Rival on Queen podcast to hear
new update.
about a new something dropping.
Yeah. I'm probably not the kind of person that would do it publicly, so this is my announcement. And honestly, I'm just like,
If you don't listen,
I
you won't
do
know.
love seeing people's stories who are in the first trimester and do share it
Yeah.
and share their vulnerable moments, because a lot of women go through it, and that's why, you know, we haven't publicized it to the world, but sort of telling people as we see, even though it is early, because it's a part of the story no matter what happens, and
Yeah.
it is an opportunity to be vulnerable and connect with other people. So
And sharing that
We're happy
experience
you
and like
shared with
honestly
us.
what
totally,
it's like.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people go through things and don't talk about them, and I think it's important to normalize a lot of the
Experiences.
challenges that we face.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Please
Heard
pick
it
a
here
number
first.
between 101 and 146. And then I'm going to we'll end, and then I'll process all the information.
Then you can have a moment.
And then Connie and I will have a moment. Okay.
5.
Number 5.
Thank.
All right. Someone is meeting you at the airport and you can go anywhere. Where are you going?
It's been such a long couple weeks. I've just been like Googling direct flights out of Halifax. Where am I going? Anywhere
This
in
is
the
a
world?
charter. This is a private charter, Connie.
Goes
Wherever
nonstop.
you want.
Wherever you want.
I feel like India is at the top of my bucket list.
Ooh.
We've talked a lot about sort of like the trajectory of the businesses as a reflection of myself. And what's interesting is like when I started in my sort of free-spirited, hippie, minimalist, type B, laid-back phase, I feel like starting to circle back to that. Like went to one extreme, and now I'm like kind of reconnecting to my spiritual self. So I feel like that would be a really good next spot for me.
Ooh. I love that.
Where are you going?
Oh, do you have an answer yet? Because I don't have one.
Yeah, but I
Let's
thought
hear it.
about one, and then I thought about another one, and
Such
I'm
a
going to
big
go with
world.
like the heartfelt one that I want.
All right, let's hear it.
I would just go visit my brother.
Aw,
His
that's
name's,
so
I
sweet.
don't even think about family.
Well, he's so far away now, and I just want to be like teleported there. Thinking about traveling there, I just don't want to. I just want it. In this question, it's magic, and I can just be there in my mind, you know.
Okay, where am I going?
Yeah, there's no time frame. Or
And that's
tickets.
Portland, Oregon. For everyone who's wondering, it's not that exciting.
When you said so far away, I'm like, takes long to get there. I'm like, oh, it's probably Australia.
No.
Like, it's a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Yeah, just a day traveling.
Where? Oh, Greg's Snapchatting Mark at the moment. So Ashley's brother is
Aw.
literally live.
Oh, he
connecting to
heard
us.
you.
Oh, he knows.
So connected.
Where am I gonna go? Yeah, you guys have.
I want to say Paris, but then I went for what I really wish where I could go.
I really like that you said that.
You're welcome.
I would like to
For
go. Where would I like to go? I would like to go to Australia. One of my best friends is there. I have not seen her in 3 years now.
I'd like to go to Australia too.
So I'd like to go to Perth. That is where I would go right now. Also, warm weather. I'm very into that. Boats.
accents.
I mean, anywhere right now, I feel like
Yeah.
is a good option.
I'm going to Montreal in 2 weeks, and that feels
Anywhere.
exotic.
Yeah, like South Shore even.
Dartmouth.
I want
This
a
is
little
really-
more exotic than that, but no, I think yes. that all sounds
anything
beautiful.
adventurous feels really special right now.
Connie, where can people connect with you online? And obviously send their congratulations.
Wow. My Instagram handle is the Connie May. Does it have an extra E on both? I can't remember.
I think
I
it
don't
just
think
has
it
one E.
does.
I don't think it has any extra. We'll tag it in the show notes regardless.
The Connie May. Connie May was taken. All of my other names were taken, so I had to be a the. Our studios always. You'll still find me there. I'm trying to trudge through these classes and bring my A game, but I'm definitely slowing down. So if you've been afraid to try my classes, now's a good time because
Okay, first of all of your classes are always amazing. I don't even think you slowing down is going to change how good they are because you are so connected to like the body. Also,
my lessons have changed, that's for sure.
But that's okay.
but
that's
I
a
think
fun
like,
journey.
you come through no matter what. But I will be taking you up on that offer and I will try your spin class.
Love it.
Okay, your spin class isn't. Don't be that scared.
Yeah,
Everyone that's
not
listening,
afraid.
it's wonderful.
I don't think you've ever done it. You've
I
just been
haven't because
afraid.
I've been afraid for no reason. It's
No,
not.
but when Connie isn't
I'm
like,
facing my fears. Okay, guys, I've been motivated tonight by Connie.
she'll just pull it out of you though.
I know she will, but it's like it's not about that. I know I can physically do it. It's the mental game. It's also like I'm lazy.
Connie has good music and it's really dark.
I'm there. Anyways, I'm going.
You get to do whatever you want. I let you know that.
Okay.
We'll go.
Remind
I'll see
you,
you
meet
there.
yourself where you're at. That's always my number one.
All right. I'm there then.
Love it. We'll see you Wednesday morning.
7:30.
Thankfully, I'm in New Flame, but next Wednesday I'll be there.
She immediately books a trip.
Yeah. Out of here.
Next Wednesday I'll be there. All right.
Well, thanks so much. We know you're busy and we're appreciative to come and hang.
We love
So good to catch up all the days.